There is so much gold on the latest Bachelor episode, and we need to talk about it. I just cannot with Carolina. I was Team Carolina because she's Latina, Puerto Rican. My husband's Puerto Rican. I'm Latina. So, but no. And let me tell you why, okay? If at first Carolina shared something really vulnerable, and I was like so happy and so just yes for her being vulnerable and heart on her sleeve, sharing that she has epilepsy. And I was loving and cheering her on, right? But then it all goes wrong. And this is how I feel like you guys notice. If you're watching Carolina on The Bachelor and you're like, oh, this kind of reminds me of me, this is a huge problem. Like, you are a red flag. For like, if I was, and I would tell you, I'm coaching Grant, run. Why? Because she starts to spiral. Like, she even says, I'm spiraling. Someone says she's a tornado of anxiety. I remember feeling really anxious when I was really insecure. And this is like truly the energy that Carolina starts to reveal. It's like, oh no. She just starts to get really in her head, overthinking. And she's like, oh, I had a great one-on-one date with him, but now he goes off with 3 girls and like she's upset. She says, I'm jealous and all this. When you are so secure in yourself and the value that you bring, and you have the unwavering faith that you will meet your person, the universe wants to deliver. And if you're aligned with that person that you're meeting, then perfect. If not, my, keep it moving and you will meet your person, right? But she doesn't have that energy. She's more of like the scarcity mindset, the I'm not enough kind of mindset, and my heart goes out to her. But that being said, I need her to leave the mansion. Like, I need her to leave. And by the way, she doesn't. Like Grant gives her the rose, but Grant doesn't even really realize the extent of her insecurities, because what she shares with Grant later, she says, one of the girls here told me that when you were dancing with me on the group date on stage, she told me that you said, oh, you were thinking about Rose instead of, Carolina. Now, first of all, if some bitch told me that, I'm serious. Like, some bitch told me that, I'll be like, okay, great, bye. Like, I would not be fazed by this, But she, because of her insecurities, she's so in her head, struggles with feeling like she's enough. She completely spirals, crying and crying. And listen, there's nothing wrong with crying, but like, when you are crying for all of these kind of reasons and you're completely feeling anxious and you're overthinking and over of how everything is going wrong, this is where you're really your worst enemy. This is, Carolina started off so great, and then she lets some girl walk by, which, by the way, Rose ends up saying, oh, that's what I thought I heard. And I don't trust her. Like, I don't think she's malicious, but, I don't really trust her. I don't even like her. And I still don't understand why Grant gave her the rose. Like, I'm confused. I am confused. I'm like, Grant, what are we doing here? I just don't feel, when Rose admits, yeah, that's what I told her because that's what I thought I heard you say. And Grant was, hey, wait a second, that's my character. I'm not a player. I'm not dancing with Carolina and then saying, oh, I wish I was, and me telling you, oh, I was thinking it was you who I was thinking of you when I was dancing with her. And he's like, that's some player shit, and that's not me. And I am like, awesome, Grant, for communicating that. But like, pay attention. People tell you who they are. And that's not just a mistake. That's not a mistake. I don't trust that, oh yeah, she misheard. I feel like she probably has other deeper issues too, Rose, Rose probably has some insecurities too. And now she's like delusional in like a really weird way where she's like hearing things. And why would you tell Rose, why would you tell another girl that? It's like, I'm sorry, but that's a bitch move. It is. So I don't like you, Rose. I don't like you, Rose, on this show, and it's a shame that Grant gave you the rose. Okay, and you know what? And like, hopefully she doesn't take this shit personally, but it's like, you're not ready for a healthy, secure, loving, lasting relationship. That's all it is. I really feel like Carolina and Rose have some work to do. And like that's it. Like inner work, heal your shit, feel secure in yourself where you're not crumbling at every single second depending on whatever anybody says. You know, when you really know your value, you're just walking in that and you own it and you're proud of yourself and you're putting your heart on your sleeve. And if you're aligned, hell yes. If you're not, bye bye. And that's it. But I do feel like there is this massive level of insecurity in some of these ladies. And if that is something that is reminding you of yourself, this is when you're like, let me sign up with, a therapist. Let me go get some coaching. Let me get some, different perspective and heal some shit. This is like so important to have that growth mindset. Not like, oh, she reminds me of me. Yay. I'm not alone when I spiral. Like, no, like this is a sign that you need to take action to address it so you do not keep spiraling. Because by the way, you'll just keep spiraling and spiraling your way into and out of toxic relationships or relationships that don't serve you, or even finding a guy that's a good guy, but scaring the shit out of him. Because a good guy is secure in himself, he is going to run the other way when he meets you. Like if you're just set off with any little thing that happens, you're like super jealous, super anxious, spiraling. Like if he has to reassure you over and over again, that is exhausting. And any secure person does not want to have a relationship with someone that is going to drain their energy. So yeah, you got some work to do if you're feeling like you can, or if you feel like you're connecting with Carolina and Rose. And by the way, like I really was like that. And so like, this is tough love shit. I'm sorry, but like I was that and I had to call myself out on it. I'm like, I don't want to keep feeling anxious. So I truly hope that Carolina realizes that. It doesn't have to be like that. Okay, moving along. Moving along. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't. Tell me you noticed it too, Serafina. So like Serafina is so pretty and she's nice, but like there's no chemistry. Like I'm not feeling the vibe of like leaning in, wanting to like, oh my gosh, like Grant and her like leaning into each other. I'm not feeling it at all. I feel like more like, hi, how are you? Okay, we're meeting and that's it. And that is a very huge tell that like you're not vibing. There's no chemistry and you can't force that. So I feel like she's kind of just staying there and he's keeping her there, but like it's just a matter of time that she's not going to get a rose. That's how I feel, honestly. And then when you see Latia and Grant, like once again Latia is killing it and I love her and she's like my pick because there she is, like he chooses her out of the three women that he goes on this little date with, which by the way, they go to Vanderpump dogs or puppies or whatever it's called. I love Lisa Vanderpump and I'm like, shut up. Yes. And if you don't know, anyways, I this is kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. I love reality TV. And so when they go there, it's, which is like volunteering to help with the dog that they rescue, which is so sweet. And by the way, I love that Grant loves dogs. And someone that doesn't like dogs, I think is weird. I'm sorry, but it's like, what's wrong with you? So I love that he loves dogs. And I like that the girls that are there are super comfortable with dogs. And that he's being super intentional too about, hey, dogs are a big part of my life. I have a dog. You're going to like live with the dog if we get married. Good job, Grant. Like seriously. Because it's awesome test to see how they are, But then he chooses one of the three girls to go off on, a private date, and it's Latia. And it's like the sweetest thing. And he just feels this emotional connection. You guys, I cannot tell you enough how important that is. If you want a guy, like honestly, like if you want to share your life with somebody, it's not about, oh yeah, how hot you are, how hot they are. That's bullshit. It's about emotional connection. Can you and can they put their heart out there? Can they cry in front of you? And that's what Grant does. That's what Latia, like they do that. They feel safe enough. It's that feeling of safety, feeling of an authentic connection. And it's there, it's so obvious. And the more vulnerable they get, the more they can trust each other and be there for each other, and then they also make out. Like, that's seriously the best of all worlds. That's seriously what I have with my husband. Like, this is like best friend vibes. Feel like you can tell him anything, but you also have that crazy passion and that chemistry. And so, like, but it really starts with the emotional connection. It has to start there. So this is what I love about what Grant's doing. It's really getting deep with people and emotionally connecting. He did say something to Carolina when she shared about the epilepsy. He was like so comforting to her and saying, I would be there for you, like no matter what. Like, I wouldn't just leave because it gets hard. And I love that. And this is where it's really important to take your time with people, because I love that he said that, but I am also curious to see what's going to happen once they leave this perfect little la la land, Bachelor, and see how does he continue to show up for these ladies or whoever he chooses, right? And so this is where I'm like, I wish The Bachelor could do that, where they can just release release these contestants out into the wild before they propose. Like, proposal is a big deal. Even before they have sex, like, it's a big deal. Like, I want to know, like, if I were the ladies, you want to know, hey, you're amazing here when you don't have your phone, when you don't have your friends, you don't have your work. But when we get out of here, are you still going to show up for me? Am I still going to be a priority? Are you, like, how are you showing up? But they're not going to know anything until after they go into fantasy suites, after they get proposed to, and then they go into the real world. So, like, Bachelor Nation, Bachelor show producers, I hope you take note of that. That would be so, so awesome to release them into the wild for real, to see what they do and how their jobs really take them away, and how they continue, and give them the opportunity to see if they show up or not. Right. Okay. So I do like what Grant said, though. He said that he would, and I want to believe him, and I do. And then I want to say that Dina, this is so important, you guys, and tell me if you caught it. Okay. Dina was talking about her career and her job and how it's so secure and all her salary, whatever. And, she's very career driven, and that she could work remote. And then he says, wow, I'm really success driven, but I've never dated someone like that. And, and I get it, like, I'm like that, but like, enough is enough. He like said this comment. And then Dina goes on to say, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I work hard and play hard. Like, I went to Europe 4 times this past summer. Like, I still like live it up. Where that's where I think there's a bit of a misstep on her. And I want you to like learn this, okay? When he said enough is enough, I feel like there's space to like get clarity in that. Like, ask, like, well, wait, what do you mean by that exactly? And let him explain. Because to me, it could go either way. It could be like, oh, you make sure that you don't just work, like live to work. It's more like work to live, right? But also, it could be like, does he not have an abundant mindset? Is he more like, wait a second, we just need enough to like survive? And like, it's not like one is wrong and the other's not right or whatever it is. It's more like, are you guys aligned on your goals? And, having an abundant mindset, like, is very different when you're matching with someone that does not. That is not going to work. Like, it's like, unless they're really open to learning and hearing where you're coming from. But I feel like there was a moment that Dina should have asked, hey, so what do you mean by that? Like, enough is enough. And instead of asking for clarity and probing to go deeper to see where he's coming from and what he means, she automatically assumes that, oh shit, he's thinking that I am a workaholic and I have to defend myself and I have to show him that I have a balance. And that's a misstep. That is a big misstep, because that's not what Dina should be worried about. You don't want to be like, oh no, but this is who I am. Wait a second. And I feel like I used to do that. And I feel like when you feel like it's so hard out there to find the connection in a guy, when you have someone in front of you that you're like really vibing with, and then there's something that they say that could be like, oh shit moment, that this could be not aligned with me. sometimes we just subconsciously sweep that under the rug and we don't really probe. We don't want to rock the boat. We want to just like keep showing them and convincing them that we're amazing, because you don't want to lose that person in front of you. But that's not exactly at all what I'm about. I really feel like Dina needs to know, oh my gosh, she's amazing, 100%. And I want Dina to know, hey, are we aligned? And so when he says something that's different from where she's at, ask for clarity fearlessly. Because if his ass says, yeah, I'm not really big on like so much success, or now both of us are working, and then like maybe he wants her to like stay at home with the kids. Like I feel like there's so much space there that she should have probed to find out, and she didn't. And why? Is fear of, oh shit, let me not rock the boat. Let me show him I'm amazing. Let me get him to freaking love me. And Dina, you don't have to get him to love you. You're freaking awesome. And you don't have to convince him of anything. And I think that like so much of this can help you on your journey as you are talking to anyone that comes across your path, is like fearlessly be yourself. Be curious when you're talking to people. When they say something that's like, enough is enough. What do you mean by that? And be curious about it. Ask. Like if someone says, oh, well, oh yeah, I've never dated someone that's been successful. Well, oh, how come? Like seriously, I'm curious, Grant. Why haven't you dated a success-driven person? And is that something that you've been wanting to find or not? Like there's so many questions left unanswered, and these questions weren't even asked. And there's a reason why Dina didn't ask it. Ask them. Ask all these questions. It's because she hasn't been trained. Because at the end of the day, I'm a freaking dating coach where I'm like preparing you to like ask the freaking questions. Discern if they are aligned to you or not sooner than later. And it's a skill. It is a skill, because next thing you know, Dina ends up with him, and then like months down the road or whatever it is, oh my God, it didn't work out. Because he just like didn't really support me and my job, and he wasn't like supportive of my dreams and shit, girl. Like he remember that time that he said that one thing? Like you should have been asking more questions right there, because that was a little crack in the door open, and you could have kicked that shit open and get more clarity. And then you could have said bye bye. And Dina would have packed her bags that moment. Seriously. Let me know if this is resonating with you. Let me know, because this is all gold for you. It really is, for you to take this and be like, thank you, Bachelor, for telling me what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. Thank you, Jackie, for freaking being a little ninja, because I am teaching you how to be a freaking ninja. If you, by the way, I have a couple spots open for my one-on-one. I'll drop the link below. If you want to apply to my one-on-one coaching, I'll drop it below. This is where I'm really by your side, helping you become that dating ninja that you really need to be, so you can find your person faster. All right, we have no time to waste. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you so much. Make sure to leave a review if this is resonating with you. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Remember, it has to be crazy love or nothing.